welcome to another multiplayer battle on Call of Warhammer, beginning of the end times. This is the latest 1.5 build. Today we have a battle between myself as the High Elves and Gerardo as Orcs and Goblins. Just gotta say off the bat before we get into the army compositions that the map here is really cool. I like this little tower of Hoth. And it's like 3 sort of wizard towers. I don't know where they got the model from, but it's incredible model none the same. So credits to the modelers for making this map. It looks very Warhammer-esque, so it's very good. Let's go through the army compositions. I'm playing a faction I normally don't play very often, and it's just because I dislike elves in general. Maybe I have a slight liking for the dark elves because they're a wee bit kind of cooler in my opinion, because they've got more variation and stuff like that. I like the lore behind them, and they've kind of got a tie-in with the cultists of Slanesh as well. So, but let's not get into the lore too much. This is a multiplayer battle. Right, I have 2 units of High Elf archers. No, sorry, that's 3 units of High Elf archers, and then 2 Lothran Sea Guard as my range sort of contingent, and then I have, I think, about 6 or 7 spears. And then from my elite corps I have White Lions, Phoenix Guard, 2 Swordmasters of Hoth, and the Lore Masters of Hoth, which are a little buggy in this game, if I remember correctly, because I didn't actually see them fire. Either they have invisible projectile, or I just didn't notice it when it was firing. But they're basically Swordmasters that have magic. So, and for the cavalry, I have 3 units of Silver Helms, Spare Bones, no upgrades, and the Dragon Princes of Kaldor for the general. My opponent's army is Gerardo, who accidentally hit the start button too fast, but his orcs are a little disorganised, but I'm going to take full advantage of that, because orcs don't seem to have a concept of organisation anyway, in the lore, but it's not his fault, it's just an accident. They hit the start button by mistake, so he has assault and uphill as well, so he has a bit of 2 disadvantages here, so can't be too harsh on him. He's spread out his flanks to have Black Orcs and Biggins, with some Spearmen to support the rear and the front and the sides. Front and rear, sorry. He has some Orc Boar Biggins, and then quite a lot of Orc Boys as his core line, and some Goblins to soak up the missile fire with some Ara Boys. The armoured crossbow guys, which are armour piercing, which are really good. The Rugland's Armoured Ox, I remember a lot of people taking them. I don't know if their unit is now capped, but they are a very good ranged unit, because I think they had multiple HP in one of the previous builds. I don't know if they still do, but it'd be handy to know that. If anybody knows, let me know. We also have some Savage Orcs, and some more Black Orcs, and I think he's got a couple of units of Trolls. I think he's got 2 units of Trolls as well. So Trolls are quite hard to bring down. They're very tanky. So let's start the battle. And my archers automatically start in range, because that's the one thing I hate about High Elves, or elves, specifically High Elves in general, is the fact that they're basically in range as soon as you start the battle, which is, I don't know if it's unfair, but it forces your opponent to come to you. So if you just sit back, and you won't do too well against High Elves, unless you deploy a wee bit further back, which I'm guessing they probably may have done if you hadn't hit the start button prematurely. So it's before you're ready to set up, of course. The Orc Boys are just getting sniped down. They've lost near enough 15 models, and the Biggins are coming in as well. The Goblins are doing an alright screen though, so I mean he is doing the right thing by advancing, because Orcs you want to get it close as soon as possible, try and close the distance, because that's the way Orcs play. They're an aggressive faction. You can't sit back as Orcs. Yeah, well you can, but and it's not advisable. You're better being aggressive and taking the fight to the enemy, and try to use your numbers to kind of swarm around them, try and get some good flanks off. At this point I'm sending the cavalry around the wing, and I want to get a good charge off on his Biggins, because I know infantry without spears haven't got the greatest charge defense against cavalry. So I'm going to see if I can drop some models already. Silver Helms are incredibly fast, so Silver Helms are doing quite a decent amount of damage. I mean, they've halved the Bork Biggin unit, and that was just all I wanted to do, was just charge and then run away. So like, that is the power of cavalry. Silver Helms are incredibly fast, so you can hit the exposed flanks really quickly and then just pull out again. One thing I'm learning about cavalry is you got to keep them mobile. Stationary cavalry is pointless cavalry. You need to kind of constantly be on the move with it. But my micro will improve. I'm folding one flank, so he's got to come to me, and the lore masters are heading out. I was going to try and hoping they get some projectile fire off, like with the magic and stuff, but I don't know if they're a bugged unit. If someone knows, be happy to read this in the comments if they are a bugged unit or not. But the lore masters of Hoth are quite good as a cool unit, but it's like I don't know if it's bugged or not because it doesn't seem to fire unless they need, like I say, see they throw back and then see there's no sort of projectile coming out there as they fired that, so I can't tell if they are actually firing or not. But we have routed a lot of the eyes here, so I don't know if that was the magic taking place. My cavalry are just kind of run rampant for his archers. He's trying to disorganise them. They're more of a distraction at this point because I didn't want all of his orcs engaged in the main line, but we have routed the centre of his line with the high elf spears. When they're in that shield wall formation, they are very tough to break through from the front. I don't know if this is intended this way, but even my opponent was saying after the battle he tested this, and the Orc Biggins cannot break through the high elf spear wall line when they charge from the front. That's how effective they are. For 1,000 gold, they can stop a 2,500 gold unit. So they're incredibly tough for their cost. Very hardy unit, very good to support battle lines. Black Orcs and the Biggins are still alive, but at this point I'm just trying to micro the cab out of there, but they just got stuck. We have routed the right wing, so the Swordmasters of Hoth and the White Lions are charging forwards, ready to bring the fight to the Orcs. This is a really cool little scene. I like this when the Swordmasters and the White Lions have decided to break their lines and just charge down the Orcs that are running. Just try to get as many kills as possible. The Black Orcs are now done for because the Silver Helms are supporting them. Silver Helms is just going to ride down that unit. However, his trolls are doing quite a number on the Swordmasters, killing quite a few of them there. This part I just don't want Orcs coming back. The spear walls were quite slowly getting formation, so I decided to break the spear wall formation and run in and try to support the wings. But he's got a nice charge off here with the boar boys on the rear of the Lothran Sea Guard. But I'm still getting some nice shots off with the archers that are left on this hill. I've only left the Phoenix Guard and some high elf spears, plus the mages, or the wannabe mages, I guess, because I don't see them firing a single projectile this battle. They look cool as fuck though, with their gold helmets and their blue plumes. And they've got like a little standard bearer. They're looking a very cool unit. The cavalry was pulled back and ready for another charge. I'm trying to charge into the Black Orcs and the boar boys, boar biggins, to get them out of the picture because they then have the cavalry advantage. This unit is slowly advancing its spear wall. The Swordmasters of Hoth are taking on the Black Orcs, but they've got a charge coming up from the White Lions. Got a nice charge off there to kill the Black Orcs with their big two-handed axes. A charge with that would be very deadly, I'd imagine. They're very vulnerable to missiles and stuff like that because they'll have a shield, but it's a big two-handed axe, so it's going to be powerful. Black Orcs are multiple HP though, and the cavalry I've got is really depleted, but that's just because I've been microing poorly and been focusing on the lines rather than the cavalry. And Midi will tell you why focus on your cavalry just as much as your battle line. But yeah, there's more. I've committed the high elf archers to the fight because they're actually out of ammo, so they're just going to be extra numbers now. But this battle is looking quite good for me because I haven't really lost any serious units yet. The Phoenix Guard are marching up as well. I think they've been. Oh, it's Phoenix Guard bodyguard. Sorry, I thought it was a full unit Phoenix Guard. I was wondering why the numbers were so depleted, but even still, a depleted Phoenix Guard bodyguard unit is still worth the cost because it doesn't really need numbers. It just needs to be engaged and from the front, and it's already going to get loads of kills. The high elf spears are the last things I had in reserve guarding my mages. But since I felt as if there was no need for protecting the mages anymore because they weren't firing, I decided to go for a flank with the spears. I'm just kind of trying down these Orc arrow boys, and I'm trying to get those through those crossbows, but it's just to stop them firing because they're armor piercing, and they were doing quite a number on some of my guys. Routed in our part of the Orc line here, and it's only a matter of time before the Orcs start to lose morale because we've got numbers and just slowly break it. They can't break through the spear wall. It's been an issue. I don't know if it's designed this way, but High Elf spear wall is one of the most toughest formations to break. I think they changed the unit densities, so it's almost impossible to break through from the front, and you get sort of stun locked through the spears. I haven't tested this in any great detail, so don't quote me on that, but it seems highly likely that the unit density is so tight that units can't actually break through a flank. And this is the point where his army starts to rout. The High Elf archers are incredibly quick, so they're chasing down the Orcs. It was a quite good game. It's not very often I beat Jardo. He's a very skilled player, so I'd like to thank him for participating in this battle. Definitely worth a replay for me at least. I don't really win many games these days. I'm not very good at the Call of Warhammer game, but I do enjoy it. So let's just see the unit stats. The Lord Master of Hoth only got 4 kills, so they didn't really do anything. Like their mages and didn't really fire any projectiles and stuff like that. The High Elf archers got most of the kills there, as you'd expect, but it was on big units of orcs, so you can't expect too much. Casualty wise, it's going to be quite high. The cavalry did their number as well. The Dragon Prince of Caldor got 81 kills, that's the top tier of my kills. Got 694 kills. He got 500 kills. We had roughly the same deployment armies. It was a pretty good game. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you'd like to see more, consider subscribing. I know I haven't been updating the channel as much as I'd like, but I'm going to try and update more regularly, so hopefully bring more content for you guys. See you in the future.